Had a handful of grapes.
I didn't get to but if you were to see the schedule, all I wrote beside Brent's name was hi.
Hi.
I love that.
But I also was a high school coach, and I believe that you're lifelong learners. So when Ashley and a lot of the ladies down in Florida started doing this, with the help of Todd sharing with me, I'm like, I really need to take a look at this. And we started seeing, I was seeing like crazy amounts of money made from people. And I just want to share this with you really quick. There was a lady that had just been probably a year ago, I'd sit down with, and she was making about $3 to $3.5 million a month in this industry. And somebody interviewed her. She started the industry when she's in her 20s as a single mom. Somebody interviewed her while I was sitting there watching, and they said, basically, how do you build this enormous team? And she said, I believe in getting my people paid fast. And there's nothing faster today than Venmo, PayPal, Cash Out. There's nothing faster than paying our people. And then when the ladies, and all this started happening with retail sales, I'm like, this is it. This is what she was talking about. This is how she did it. And I started looking at the numbers, and I'm like, there's people that's starting to pick this thing up that's been doing network marketing. Hill Blue said, I've made more money 2 or 3 weeks ago in Partner Code in retail sales than I've ever made in network marketing. And I could go through and tell you that story over and over and over and over again from people I've heard the last several months. And here's what I really, really want you to do. Talk to somebody. Raise your hand if you're making sales on social media today, like this week. Like, look around, please. If you're not doing it, just look around and grab somebody that is, and they will show you the system. They will show you how to download boards. Like, don't go, I don't think they explained it, so I don't know how to do it. It is so simple, an 8-year-old can do it. And so before you leave, if I have to sit here with you, I will make sure that you've got everything you need before you leave. So I want to share with you, though, for everybody that's doing it, my vision of the way I see this, because I believe I see the end goal in mind. And the end goal of this is, so we're not having.
I think I'm having to let it cool off or something.
The end goal of this is that you end up tapping into a massive residual income of people that are consuming the drops, they're consuming MOA, they're going to drink Renew for the rest of their life. And you go, is that possible? we're living proof it's possible. That people will do this in a big way, and they'll use our product for the rest of their life. So you got to think, when you're handing somebody a box of these drops, that started the process. So here's the way I like to look at it. I like to look at it as, you gotta grab my notes now. Sorry. I thought I had slides, but
I can give you your PowerPoint.
oh, I got it right here. So I look at it as the first step that we're doing when we leave here is we're wellness partners. We're looking for wellness partners. Step one. Okay, what is that? Retail. We're looking for wellness partners, and that's retail. And when I hand them a box of drops, I got to have a vision that they're going to turn into a residual client that will use our products and even more products for the rest of their life. It's kind of like the coach. A coach don't go into the year thinking they're not going to win the state championship, I hope. Right? I don't think they go into the year going, I just want to be 5-5. No, we want to go win a state championship. So here, when you hand a box of drops, I got to think, I want a lifelong partner in this thing that'll use this the rest of their life and products. So a wellness partner is your retail. And as soon as you hand them those box of drops, you got to become their cheerleader, their biggest fan. And inside of that boards out, there is actually, if you'll look at it and you'll study it, there's actually strips that'll help you be their biggest fan. Like once you hand deliver it, there's a script in there that will tell them exactly like, oh my gosh, you got the box. You're going to love it. Like you're going to believe in them before they believe in themselves, right? That's what we are. We're coaches. And then there's scripts in there that week 1, and you're cheering them on. Week 2, you're cheering them on. You're cheering them on when they lose a pound. You're cheering them on when they drop a pant size. Because you've got the vision that you're going to move them from step 1 to step 2, which is a business partner, okay? A business partner and a recruit. So you make the transition. Because you don't want to be the person that says, I sold 400 boxes of drops and I enrolled 2 business partners. So box 1 is, now I'm cheering them on. I'm cheering them on. They're my wellness partner. They're my retail customer. And now somewhere between that first month before they order again, what am I going to do? I'm going to ask them. They don't know this, but I'm going to ask them for an appointment because I'm going to tell them, look, you're going to need a second box. You're having so much success, you're going to need a second box. I want to show you how to get it at my cost. I'm not having a business talk with them. I'm not talking to them about how to go make $1 million. I'm talking just taking that next step. How $29.95, get on subscribe and save, right? Possibly how to get their product for free by buying a LiPo pack. Sell 3, use 1, yours is 3, you've made all your money back. I just have those simple little conversations once they're on. And they become, at that point, they become a business partner, a recruit. And that's kind of step 2. And then step 3 is through being a business partner, we help them get paid. We help them break a pin rate. And what ends up happening is step 3, you end up start seeing people that become lifestyle partners. That's where you start seeing residual income happen. And I had pictures on my slide. It was showing retail customers that we're getting right now in a Facebook group called Circle of Health, where people are on there and they're like, I'm just starting my journey. My name is Brent Palmer, and here's why I'm here. And then you start seeing people congratulate them. You start seeing people cheerlead them on. And then we transition over and you start seeing that person 2-3 weeks later get welcomed in as a brand partner, as a business partner. Okay? And here's what happens then. How many of you, raise your hand if you know that cycle? You've been through cycle one of selling a box. Now you've made them a business partner. Okay? You go, okay, how do I get them to be a lifestyle partner with me and us do this for the rest of our life? How do I get us to this residual income? It's all of us in this room. Like that was my picture to show. It was going to Orlando. It was coming to Jackson. It was taking your group out to dinner. You know, I had a picture of us at the Grand Ole Opry, just me and a small group of people. And through that, you end up creating experiences that you look up in 10 years and you've got, you know, Leisha Bacon, stand up Leisha. I mean, Leisha's a great example of a lifestyle partner. How many years have me and you worked together, Leisha? 12 years. Have you taken an auto ship for 12 years? Okay, auto ship, residual client for 12 years. How many places have we been together living life? A lot. A lot of cries, a lot of laughs, a lot of her making fun of me. Okay? And she's one, and I could point to Summer, I could point to Buffy, Todd, Ashley, they could point to so many people in this room. And Keith and Diane comes. And that is the progression of our industry. When people go, how do you make this, how do you make this work full time? It's a progression. When people come here and say, I want to make $1 million tomorrow, well, if you show me how to do it, it's like a little hard to show you how to do it. You can go as fast as you want to go, but you've got to go through the cycle. Todd says it all the time. There's some people that are great recruiters, and it stops right there. They don't slide over into the team building. There's some people that's great team builders and not great recruiters. But if you master the art of bringing you people in as a customer on a box of drops, and then through that month, you book an appointment to show them how they can get it at your cost and possibly get it for free. And if you don't know that sequence, please don't leave here today before you do it. We'll tell you. And then once they become that brand partner, how do I get them to be 12 years in the business with me? Congratulate. Find ways to recognize. Find ways to love on them. Find ways to support them. Find ways to put them up in front of the room to speak. And it ends up, you look around, and that was my slides today, is you look around and you go, I've created an army. We've created an army of people. But every one of them's unique, Brittany, and they've got a different story. And the beauty of this, when it goes from your head to your heart, is when you start realizing they all are, there's Chelsea, and I know her story. You know, and there's Kristen, and I know her story is different from Chelsea's. But it's because I started with a retail client. I moved them to the business partner by being brave enough to book an appointment and bring on a third-party person to show them how they can get it for free, how they can get it at cost. Takes 10 minutes to do that, but how many people do not do that? And then when they're in as a brand partner, that's where, man, we pour into it. If it's, you know, I'll never forget my Colorado Springs. They're probably on here. I love you, Colorado Springs. Those ladies they keep me hopping. But they were the first ones to show me. They're like, if you come to Colorado Springs, every time we break rank, we're served. We got to get them a cake. And I'm like, oh. So I can't tell you how many times we'd be up in front of the room with like a little cake that had a rank on it, from Sammy's a shelf, you know, like she could do it. And adults like smiling from ear to ear. Doesn't have to be a cake. It could be a t-shirt. It could be something, but it's through that, you end up having this massive army of individual people that you know their story, you know the color of their carpet, you know their kids' names, and you know the impact that this has had on their life. And from there, you found a business that you can retire into and not out of, like the world's trying to do. And that's why it's so weird when people look at us and they don't understand what we do. They're not going to understand until they get in it and get immersed in it. So if you're looking for the outside world to understand network marketing, they will not ever, because it's not normal. Like we don't teach this in school. And so when you said that, sir, about we're different, we are different. This is different. And once you get immersed in it, the rest of the world becomes weird.
Weird.
Very weird. Yeah, they're weird.
They actually go to work.
Hey, I said that this week when they asked me, so all you macho men in here, don't laugh. But I go in to get a pedicure. Hey, there's a lot of men in here that do that. You don't tell them about it. I go in, and I was a football coach, right? I was proud to get a pedicure. So I go in and get my pedicure. And the lady said, how do you always come in here when no one else is here? And I said, because I can. And that's the truth. You shop when everybody else is not shopping because they're at the job. And you go get a pedicure, there's no more rush hour. Okay? It's a different life. But you get to that way by that progression I just shared with you. And the last thing I was going to say, and I want to bring Buffy up and turn it to you.
And Cannon.
Huh?
And Cannon.
Yes. So Zig Ziglar said it the best, and I had a picture of it. And it sums up our industry the best. If you're willing to take somebody from where they're at to where they want to go, you will not have to worry about you. That's our industry. That's our industry. And it starts with a retail, and it moves to that business partner. And it doesn't stop there. It moves from there to pouring in love to all the way to becoming a lifestyle partner with you for years and years to come. And in saying that, I want to bring up Buffy. Buffy Wallen, come on up. Hey, Buffy. Come on, Buffy. Come on. How many years have we been lifestyle partners? 12 years. So 12 years. Buffy's dynamic. She just made some new posts. I sent them over to Todd. I said, this woman's got some guns.
I got her on the PowerPoint,
Yeah,
but I can't share it.
I had them on the PowerPoint. So Buffy, 12 years, she just said to me today, she said, nobody knows this, but Buffy has 4 jobs. She hustles. But she said, I'm making about $4,000 a month here at Partner Co. And that's a stepping stone to where she's going to go. But share with everybody why. Because we talked about the why today. Why for you? Why are you pushing now really hard?
I mean, you always put me on the spot with that kind of.
You got to talk real loud.
Really loud. They say I don't need no speaker on the school bus. I don't, and I can't say anything up here, but real quick, a lot of you've heard my story, and we'll fast forward. Husband had a heart attack about 3 years ago, and it scared us to death. And I was so scared that he was, and I'll talk frank, that he was going to die, and that I had to make the payments, that I had to be the man of the house. And so that's why I called him. It's like I haven't ever stopped, but I started back up. And I wanted to put that money in savings. And now I feel like I'm an Andrea. I pretend like I'm making a house payment. And I put that in savings for us to get to go on cruises and trips and spend it on the grandkids now, you know? And that's my why is to literally put in savings or pretend like that and I don't by no means want him to die or want him to anything. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that, but it's
Right, but she loves you.
It's the point of just knowing that I can do that on our own, and like I say, I work.
and I told him earlier, and I'm very frank with people, there's just no excuse not to do this. I mean, like many of us that sit back here and look at our phones and sold boxes of drops. There's no reasoning why nobody can do this, you know.
That's perfect, that's perfect, and I won't say it because it's hard, and she usually tears up and cries, and Buffy, we do love you, I mean, Billy, we don't want you to die.
No.
So,
No.
but I will say this. I gotta say this, so, for all of you people that will leave out of here and somebody, maybe in a family, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's somebody that'll try to tell you to stop working so hard for this thing, you gotta have a reason. You gotta have a reason. And this reason drives her. She'll call me sometimes. She gets so mad at me. She'll call me sometimes and she'll be like, they just don't understand. And I said, quit trying to make them understand right now. Go pursue others. This is your reason for doing this. Okay? This is your reason. So, she's doing it.
Yes.
Going into the- So I'm gonna turn it to Coach right here. I had I don't know where he's at, but I'll say it for him. He's probably coming. So I've got a new person that I actually was his football coach when he was in school. And he was raised by a single mom, spent a lot of time with me. And then he went on in life, graduated, went on in life, became very successful, makes a healthy double six figures a year. And won't say the company because of what I'm gonna say. But he's over about 650 employees, very busy. And I'm on my way to Knoxville the other night and he calls me. And he said, yeah. And he says, what are you doing? And I just shared with him really quick. He said, Coach, I want this. I want to do it with you. He said, how hungry are you right now? And I said, hungry enough, I'll run. And you won't hear no. No matter what time, at night, doesn't matter. Answer will be yes. And he said, I'll tell you why I'm hungry. He said, corporate came in this week or 2 weeks ago. He said, I was so proud. I'd give my life to the Lord. I got baptized a couple of years ago and I put on my plaque, my baptism was plaque. And he said, I hung it there in my office and they came in and asked me to remove it. And said it didn't meet some standards and some ethical codes. And he said, Coach, I told him, if I remove that, I'll remove everything else out of my drawer and leave. And they turned around and walked out. He said, but I know one day they'll come back. They'll come arsenaled up, they'll come ready, and they'll come back. And he said, I got to replace a very big income. And so he's got a why. He's probably in the last week or so, he's enrolled probably 15 brand partners. I mean, we do, I don't know how many. I mean, it's north of 5 or 6 appointments every day. And that goes back, and I was gonna have him come up, but I don't know where he's at. Probably on a phone call with his company. But that goes back to my beginning. When you hand that box of drops, that's not just a box of drops. That's a life. that if you'll become a lover and a giver and a cheerleader and a coach, you'll get a brand partner if you're willing to show them how to get it at cost. And then when they become a brand partner, if you'll serve them, give them time, give them attention, give them the phone calls when you don't want to take it, you're going to find out things about them and how this has changed their life to a point you will never be the same. You'll never be the same. And that's when it'll go from your head to your heart. You realize, like I said before, I never thought this would be my journey. But I found something I can retire into and I don't have to think about 20 or 30 years trying to get out of it. And that's what we got our hands on. I'll turn it to Coach because we have, he says it over and over, but we have the unicorn. You know, this industry's taken this high school football coach and been able to earn tens of millions of dollars in commissions and help a lot of other people, see a lot of other people benefit. But what we're getting ready to go do is way bigger than anything I've ever done. We got a lot of work to do. We got to roll up our sleeves. We gotta be problem solvers. That's one of the things I had on my slide. I'll tell you, if you're doing this business, the bigger your problems, the bigger your paycheck. So if you're like, oh, my auto ship is 3 days late. Hey, that's a problem. We'll get past it. Okay? Be a problem solver. Because the more of those things, the bigger the paycheck's going to be. And just think of it that way. So Coach,
You can, he's here, Ken.
Ken, I've already told your story, but
Okay, good.
I told him you were on.
That's my team, Texas Roadhouse. So what else happened lately? I think there's no- she was over.
It's okay. This is Cannon back. This is Cannon back here. We're gonna do great things together. Wave at everybody, Cannon. That's good. I told him your story. So
Candy, come on up. I'll use you, because we're gonna have to do this a different way today, since we don't have a PowerPoint anymore.